teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront. No hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Come down.
I heard myself.
I'm up. He sees me. I'm down.
All right. Everybody's microphone working?
What? Check.
Check.
1, 2. Check.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Boats and hoes.
Bobby, I swear.
You asked me for a mic check.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vet for Vets, a show. Let me make sure I can actually get you guys on air here. Playing. Here you go. There's camera 1, camera 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vet for Vets. My name is Angelo Rocha. Yeah, look, watch this. Ready? Yeah. Boom.
Oh,
now you
boom.
can actually see the definition in Victor's muscles there.
Let me try to get a flex.
Victor's muscles have
This is dehydrated.
muscles that have muscles that have muscles.
Oh, that's
I'll take
true.
the compliment.
Me too. Okay, so Vet for Vets is a show hosted by me, Angelo Rocha, where I take in local Johnson County veterans, but it's actually outside of just any veterans in general that are in Texas is who I try to convince to be on my show. And today we have with me Bobby Riley and we have Victor Martin, two veterans who've been on my show before, but they're stepping in because my guest who was supposed to be here today had to back out because he had some prior engagements he forgot about. But it's okay. You know him, Chris Reed, friends of
I just recently met him. That's right.
Yep. He was
Is
the
this
one.
on
Another 11
is this
bang
on
bang.
Facebook?
What's that? Yeah, it's live.
Julie
on-
said she couldn't see it.
Oh, that's because I haven't done it yet.
Oh,
I haven't.
gotcha.
She should be able to see
Easy.
it now.
Easy now, Bobby. We just started.
I'm not getting in trouble when I go.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we basically take local Johnson County veterans or veterans just in general in Texas that want to explain their story because I like to put a shout out to these veterans out there that literally worked their ass off to be where they're at today. And it was some of them are all because of the military, because of their experience they gained through the military. And some of them have really, really incredible stories. People like Bobby and Victor here have great stories to tell. And that's why I have people like them on the show all the time. We've had emotional stories. We've had stories that are very touching and heart. There's some stories that are just diabolical because of that's what they had to do at the time. I mean, they couldn't control it. So, and thus being a veteran comes with a litany of issues. One of them happens to be PTSD, depression, and but pretty much just a litany of issues. And one of them is depression, which I'm not diagnosed with depression, but I know I have it because it's just the way I know my own body and I know I have it. And one of the ways I cope is by pretty much staying to myself. But at the same time, there's other veterans who don't do that. They don't know how to cope. A lot of them end up taking their own life. If you are one of those veterans that's stuck in a place where you feel like you have to end yourself because if you feel like it's a betterment of the world, you are absolutely wrong. Your family is going to be in turmoil. Your family is going to be under a chaos. You're going to be breaking so many hearts. You're going to have people thinking about you for the rest of their life. And all you have to do is reach out to certain people like Bobby, people like Victor, people like myself. We'll actually answer your phone call immediately. We'll try to send you to the people that need help. But if people like us cannot help you, there's a number called 988 that you can call. You press 1, you'll be taken to an actual real person that will try to help guide you to where you need to go to make yourself feel better. That way, 5 years down the line, when your child is graduating middle school, high school, elementary school, or you're going through something where your life is absolutely changed around, all because of this one person that called you or that you talked to on 988, they can be there to help you. What are some ways that you deal with your depression and your PTSD?
I went through therapy for about 5 years, and that was from combat, from military service. I had a bad marriage. I went through a bad divorce. But before I went through my bad divorce, I was going through therapy, and it helped out a lot. The VA gave me about just over 4.5 years. So I just round it to 5, but just over 4.5 years, the VA paid for. I was going once a month, and then I started going once every 2 weeks. And then I really need to start going once every week. So I was going once every week to therapy. That helped out a lot. Everybody that's out there that says, I don't need therapy, they're wrong. I think every individual can benefit from therapy.
They're lying to themselves.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
It's a
but
pride thing, I think.
I think so too.
but therapy helps out everybody. If you're in a marriage, if you need marriage counseling or therapy, you can go with your spouse. You can go without your spouse. If it's you that need to work on things, but when you go to therapy, you have to be open to talking about your problems. You have to be able to be honest with yourself. And if the things that I said a lot of stuff in therapy that I did wrong in my marriage, I did wrong in the military, I did wrong in life. So I was able to come to the face-to-face with the things that I was pushing, deep down inside, and accept that there's a lot of mistakes I make. And I'll be the first to tell you when I mess up, hey, I made a mistake. That was me. But there was a time when I wouldn't, and I would blame everything on my ex-wife or my job or whatever it was. because I couldn't come to terms with it. And therapy helps you with that. Listening to music is another good thing.
Yeah,
but
same with me.
You can't be listening to Down with the Sickness the whole damn time, because then all you're going to want to do is break things and hurt people. You got to listen to music that takes you back to a time when you were happy. I would say probably damn near everybody that listens to this show, damn near everybody on the planet has some form of depression. It's either about your job, about where your life is, where your life hasn't gone. You don't have the right car. You don't have the right house. You're homeless. You didn't do good in the military. You missed opportunities. There's depression. There's all different kinds of depression. There's not just one depression. Hey, I'm going to kill myself depression. There's depression where you just don't want to be around people. You don't want to talk to people. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? There's like so many different levels. And some people that maybe get grumpy from time to time, that's a level of depression kicking in.
It is.
That you might need to go exercise. You might need to go ride your bike. You might need to go out in the garage and punch a punching bag, hit the gym. I mean, most military guys, you don't see depression on them because they're literally having to work it out of their system. When you embrace the suck, you embrace the suck because everybody's doing it. And so everybody's miserable together. And guess what happens when everybody's miserable together? All of a sudden, nobody's miserable because you're all having fun together.
Yep.
Right, Victor?
No, it's true. It's talking about depression, we've all been there personally, suicidal thoughts.
Yep.
And I know before I go into my physical fitness rant, I'm going to wrap it all in like this. But I had a platoon sergeant once give me a great analogy. And, I did go seek help for therapy. I still do. I really like the Zooms through the VA. They're pretty helpful. They're a little awkward in the beginning. I'm telling everybody in the very beginning, the first time you go get your therapy, your counseling, it is very weird. You don't know this person, you're meeting it. I mean, you're trying to tell them like, this really bothers me. So be willing to be uncomfortable. But going back to that rucksack analogy, like if you ever found yourself, at all-time low, you really want to end it, think back at yourself rucking, right? What happens when you fall out of a ruck? Your buddy has to carry your ruck for you.
Right.
Your
right?
weapon.
And you don't want that to happen. You want your buddy to help you. So you're leaving that rucksack behind. And you're an important person. Everyone is important. So with that being said, physical fitness.
How many times have you been rucking and literally going up a hill and you have somebody behind you holding onto your pack and you're pulling them up that hill? So not only are you rucking your ruck, but you're pulling this guy with his ruck up a hill. You get to the top and he says, "Thank you."
No,
and then
absolutely.
You guys keep going.
And that's the thing about suicide I try to drive home is don't think you're ever alone, especially those of us who served. We may not understand you. We may not know exactly what you're going through, but we can relate to 99.9% of that bullshit. Like that's the absolute truth. You may think it's insignificant, but I can be like, oh yeah, I felt that. I've been there before. This is what helped me. So a lot of it is getting that help, but a lot of it is also reach out to your buddies, reach out to us. You'd be surprised how many strangers, especially in the vet community, I noticed you can openly vent to, and they will listen. I've met really good people through that. All right. Never I would have met some of y'all had you not come to me and be like, hey, let's talk about your service. Right. And it helps you release some of that stuff inside you. Right. And going back to that rucksack analogy, when I first got therapy, the first therapist I didn't like. The second one hit me up with another rucksack analogy that really stuck with me. And again, rucking, right? That's all I'm going to talk about all day today. But anyway, she's like, I may not be the answer. We may never find out what's wrong with you. But when you're in here, she's like, you remember the feeling when you get to the halfway, the turnaround point, or you take a break when you're rucking and you get that rucksack off your shoulders and you feel amazing for those couple seconds, even though you got to put that ruck back on and keep going. That 5 seconds, that 5 minutes feels amazing. That's the same thing with therapy, especially when you're going through depression. When you go in there, you get to drop that ruck. You get to unpack it for a little bit. You're going to have to put all that stuff back in, but it gives you that break, that rest to keep going. So definitely go seek help.
I totally agree. For the veterans that are out there that listen to the show, but do not want to come on, have not came on, are not taking the opportunity to come on. I mean, Angelo has openings and your story needs to be heard. You need to talk about it. But this show is like taking that rucksack off. When we come on here, we're able to talk, we're able to joke around, we're able to get that camaraderie back. And you're able to dump whatever you have. That's what the great thing about this open mic sort of setting we have here is
Yeah.
that you can sit here for an hour and we'll listen to you
It goes by
dump
quick.
all your
Goes by
shit. Oh my
quick.
God, it goes by
And it's
like-
not scripted, so I don't even know what's going on. None of us are
Yeah.
prepared.
No,
No.
none of us.
No, but you
well,
can-
I'm somewhat
Angelo's
prepared.
prepared.
I'm
Angelo's prepared.
somewhat prepared because I got pre questions. So,
take that opportunity to hit him up, come on the show, reorganize your time so that you can make it on Monday nights. I mean, now that it's not Sundays, but take your time to come on this show and talk, even if it's nothing about the military and you just want to say, hey, these are my problems with the VA, or, hey, I had a problem when I went to, to my civilian career after my military career, whether it's 4, 8, 10, 20, 30 years. And these are the problems that I had, and then unpack all of those so that you can start understanding what your problems were when you tried to, go from military to civilian or whatever it may be. But this is the platform for it.
I agree. So going on from here, we're gonna be getting a little bit political sometimes. Okay, just letting you know because I get feedback
Trigger
saying
warning.
you're way too political. But we get political here because the veterans are affected by the clown that's currently been placed in the White House. This old geriatric old fart, the one that's making all these things happening, it affects us veterans. All these moves that are pandering to the left, all these moves that are pandering to these young kids. For example, like he's going to pay all the college funds off, right? All of
That's
all the
him
college
trying to
debt.
get votes.
That's just literally him just trying to get votes. That's it. Nothing else. He gives two shits about these
And
young kids that want to pay for college.
even MSNBC and CNN have said that within the last
Oh my
couple of
gosh.
weeks that it's a pander so that
That's
he
it.
can stay in. Because what's their alternative? Newsom? I mean, that's the guy that's their alternative.
Puto O'Rourke. I mean, excuse me, Beto O'Rourke.
Oh,
I
he's
call him
done.
Puto.
I hope he's done.
He's not. He's going to be still around for a while. Well, the reason I bring this up is because there's a lot of things that have been happening with the military. One of them is what you brought up about the IRR. Is there something you want to tell the audience about what's going on with IRR?
We can talk about this. We got a few minutes till that break.
Yeah.
So all of you guys that are sitting out there freaking out and shitting your pants that, hey, I'm getting called up, I'm RIR or I'm select reserve or whatever.
What's IRR for the audience?
So,
I know what it is, but what's
select reserve is like Army Reserve, Army National Guard, Navy Reserve, Marine Corps Reserve, Air Force Reserve.
Yes,
Coast
it's
Guard Reserve.
inactive. People who
So
are
it's-
out.
No, the select reserve are the people that are drilling.
Oh,
drilling
okay.
reservists.
Okay.
That's the select reserve. So National Guard and stuff like that. Navy Reserve. But the IRR is individual ready. What the hell? I just
readiness.
blanked.
It's okay. IRR. Acronyms.
Individual readiness reserve. That's what
There
it
you
is.
go.
There you go.
So like say you sign up to the military and you have an 8-year contract, but you only served 4 years or 6 years of it. The time between when you get out to the time when that 8 years hits, that's your IRR time.
And that's everybody. So any young male who turns 18, you owe Uncle Sam 8
Yep.
years, but they're going to go versus the guys who have served some time first.
Mhm.
Yes. And so basically what is in the news and everybody's shitting their pants. And I've ran into so many people like, oh my God, I'm getting recalled. No, dude, you're 60 years old. You're out of shape. You're not getting recalled until the very end.
Yeah.
Those-
When the
those-
militias don't work.
Yeah, those people are the ones that are going to be filling in for the reserve and army when they're in a time of war. So say, for example, only 10% of, well, Biden put out this order stating that he can call them up for the Europe, whatever the Europe Act is, so that he can go and put them in bases all over Europe in case we need to go to war
I
in
gotcha.
Ukraine. He didn't say we're going to war in Ukraine, and he hasn't called anybody up, and he hasn't even stated that he's going to call anybody up. But in a time of war like Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, I think Vietnam was a little different, but because I think Vietnam, when we were getting slaughtered so bad that they were calling up more reserve.
Yes, they
But
had
in
to.
Iraq and Afghanistan, roughly 10% of the fighting force was select reserve. So your reserve unit went over there. And so like, say if there's 30,000 Marines, then there's 10% of them, 3,000 Marines are from a reserve unit. If there's 300,000 Army guys in Iraq, then roughly 30,000 of those are going to be from reserve units or individual augmentees. So, like guys that say, hey, I want to go, but they don't go with their unit. They just get called up like Navy, big time with Navy, because we really don't go with the unit unless you're a CB or unless you go on a ship somewhere. But there's a lot of people that are shipboard rates in the Navy that will go IA, individual augmentee, and then get attached to some Army unit or whatever, wearing, the whatever those digis are that you guys, the real gray digi prints ones.
Yes.
But other than that, I mean, you have to take into consideration that the IRR only of that 3,000, say there's 30,000 and 3,000 will get called up, 10%. Of that 3,000, only 450 will be IRR. So it's not like 30,000 IRRs getting called up. You need to understand that the numbers, when you read the actual documentation, the numbers show that a bunch of these young kids who just got out, you know, because there's thousands of them that get out every month, and then thousands that come in every month. So only 450 of that 3,000 per 3,000 are going to be called up.
Oh,
So it's not like, you know, us sitting in here are going to get the call and say,
Gosh,
hey, you guys
I
pack
can't-
your rucks, we're going.
I can't imagine getting called up by the military when you know what's going on with their wokeness right now.
Well, did you see
Oh
that they're
my
trying to get
God.
rid of it now?
Oh, they're trying to, but I don't know if it's going to succeed. When you have men who identify as women in power of positions of power in the military,
Did you see
I
the
mean,
Navy's
you
new
mean to tell
recruiting
me- you
commercial?
mean to
months
tell
ago.
me-
Did you see the Navy's recruiting
Yeah, I
commercial?
was going to bring that up.
all
The
Navy,
drag
all
queen.
Navy jokes
Oh
aside,
my
A
God.
drag queen.
this one takes the cake.
Oh my
He's
God.
pretty though.
Who?
The drag queen guy, he's pretty.
I don't
That's
know
He's
a
a
about
pretty
Navy thing.
boy. Yeah, he's a
yeah.
pretty boy. So
It would be the
There's
Navy.
the Navy
Yeah.
coming
It would
out
be-
right
it
there.
would be the
Easy
Navy.
guy. We're not on a
Yeah.
boat right now, right?
Yeah.
We can exit this room. You got options.
You know when they say a submarine goes down, 100 men go down, and 50 couples come up.
No, I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense. In the Navy.
But going back to everything, so a lot of us in our shoes, right? You got out, you already served more than 8 years. It's not going to affect you. But what does affect you, and that's what Angela was trying to get to, is your voice when you vote matters.
Mhm.
Because stuff how we're in this
Exactly.
situation down Ukraine, all this, it's all political. Let's all be real. And every war is political. I don't want to go into everything, but at the same time, don't be those vets or those individuals who don't vote. Go vote. That is your right. I
And
can't stand when people complain and then don't vote.
That's my favorite is when somebody's bitching, whining, and complaining
they
and
didn't
moaning
vote.
and groaning. Oh my God, this mayor. Oh my gosh, this governor. Oh my God, this senator. Oh my gosh, this. And it's like, well, so who'd you vote for? I didn't vote.
No, especially, and I tell everybody, start at your small places. Look at Burleson. I've been here since I got out.
Dude,
2020.
I'm telling you, that's how things change.
Only
You start-
2,000 people voted.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You know
I
what's
know,
weird is
total.
Godly's got less people, but Godly had more people voting Godly
The
than they did in
mayor race
Burleson.
was by 15 votes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
There was one by 15 votes. So I don't want to get on this Trump rampage because I,
think I'm
love
gonna
Trump,
go for mayor next time.
but man, I would vote for
I'm
you.
just kidding.
Hell yeah.
Not political.
Mayor
I think
Martin.
I think Angela should be mayor,
Angela.
No, I don't know about that.
and you can be his bitch.
No.
His vice
president.
No,
his vice
no.
president
It's
mayor.
considered,
No.
it's considered KH now.
No.
The
Oh.
Camilla Harris
Oh.
He would,
position.
he
My
would be
bad.
my fluffer.
So
If
the,
Summer's okay with it.
the thing I want
Ooh.
the thing I
Um,
really want to stress is that
tripolar.
with the voting thing, you need to make sure that you're voting for policies. You're not voting party line. And
Yeah.
we're starting to get into a situation where people are flipping. They're not voting with their party lines like in Florida. DeSantis DeSantis had a record landfall of votes. Landslide. Okay, thank you. I appreciate
no
the
problem.
correction.
No
The
problem.
landslide of votes from a Democratic side with Hispanics and blacks and
Yes.
diehard Democrats have
Yes.
voted for him on policies. And that's the thing is like, you may hate Trump. Nobody likes the orange man going on there and ranting about blah, blah, blah on Twitter.
I kind of find it entertaining. Not gonna lie.
Well, so
like
some
it.
people like it,
I like
but his policies are untouched. You
What would-
can't touch his policies. I mean, we had more money in our pocket. The gas was cheaper. Groceries were cheaper.
Yeah.
Houses were cheaper. Taxes were
We didn't
cheaper.
rely on anyone. We were independent on
Yeah, he was
everything.
bringing everything back, manufacturing back to the United
Man.
States. So vote on your policies. Don't vote on, oh, I like this person because he's a Democrat. Don't
I
do
feel
that.
like that's how the preliminary golly. That's how it should be. So it should be before the president, everything. They should just be policies. You go in there and you vote, and then it kind of matches you up to.
Well,
You don't put their
besides-
name
but
on
the-
there. You
but
just
the
put their
thing is, we-
policies.
they
I
don't
think that'd be pretty
care.
cool.
But they don't care what's going on right now. The Democrat Party has convinced the world that they're not cheating. But I feel deep down, because this is my conspiracy theory part of me,
Every
They
conspiracy theory
cheated.
has been right so
they
far.
cheated the last election.
Why
They
do you
didn't-
think Tucker Carlson got fired?
Exactly, because
got
he was about
fired
to
because-
reveal. He was
No,
about to
he
reveal what
did.
happened.
He did review, and Fox got sued, and part of that $736 million
yeah.
lawsuit was that they get rid of Tucker Carlson. But guess who they got rid of the month before that? Dan Bongino.
That's right.
And Dan Bongino was talking about the same
Oh, man.
bullshit.
Man, I tell you what,
Megyn
that
Kelly,
3 o'clock,
all them guys.
that 3
Bill
o'clock
O'Reilly.
drop, the 3 o'clock drop. I
That's
still
3
can't
a.m.,
believe it.
man.
I remember going to bed like 10 o'clock that night, and Trump was up by millions of votes. And all of a sudden, 3 o'clock in the morning come around, and then I wake up in the morning. All of a sudden, it shows that Biden's ahead, and the news media is claiming he's the president. I'm like, what the?
There
When
were
did this
zero
happen?
votes reported in California, and they gave the state to Biden.
Oh,
And
I
they
know.
go to show that there was more votes for Trump
I know.
in the in the popular vote in
Don't-
California than there was for Biden.
Unbelievable.
Same
That's-
with Virginia. They gave it to Biden in Virginia.
And if they cheated the last election, it's possible that they're going to cheat this. You know how they got you know how they were able to cheat, right?
Yeah.
It's because they claimed the virus. And because of it, a lot of people were able to do the mail-in votes.
Which
and
is
when people
funny.
do the mail-in votes, you're able to manipulate the numbers. You're able to
But
manipulate the
You
letters.
can lose some.
I know.
Or gain
listen
some.
to the amount of people that were that said Republicans didn't. Not one Republican said this, but dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of Democrats were recorded like online
Yes.
on news talking about they were sent 10, 20, 100 mail-in
Dude,
votes,
no sh-
duplicates. So they just filled them out and sent them in. How many people did you see that? Because they wouldn't let the Republicans go in
Nope.
and
They knew.
monitor the votes. They would
kept
this one
replaying,
lady would
yeah,
just keep
over and
pull it
over
out and
again.
put it in, put it out, and then I think the day before they were supposed to go download the hard drives and verify the
Yep.
Dominion machines in Tennessee. What happens? That whole block blows up.
Nothing.
All the Dominion
Yep.
machines. That's what Tucker was reporting on.
Yep. Not even that. Also, did you forget about the issue when it comes to not only the mail-in votes, but all of a sudden you got these machines that are supposedly fried, and now as soon as they start doing their research, all of a sudden they get sued by the voting machine company, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
get what's
It's
happened.
a German company. Dominion's a German company. It's in Germany.
Right. They did that to Trump. They did that to Trump, and they sure in hell did that to Carrie Lake in Arizona.
Oh my goodness.
That's why that freaking
she won
that woman, the woman she ran against, the one who's supposedly the governor now, did not do any campaigning at all throughout the
Oh,
whole
yeah, that-
season.
I think that's kind of weird.
She- Biden couldn't fill up a porta potty
He
full
couldn't
of
get out of
people
his
while he was
basement.
campaigning in
couldn't get out of his
20
basement.
in 2019. Biden couldn't even fill up a porta potty full of people at his campaign rallies. But yet Trump had 120,000, 130,000 every single place he went to. You mean to tell me that old man who can't even say a proper sentence won the election? Are you kidding me?
You know the thing.
Yeah, the
You know
thing.
the
You know,
thing.
the thing.
Oh, we could talk about it now.
Oh,
Now
my
it's
gosh.
okay.
But
We're
anyway,
canceled.
like I said, sorry, we got a little bit political.
But
we
it's
have
good
we have some comments. Julie Riley said, who are you referring to about the music? Who, Bobby,
Her.
earlier? Oh,
It's
yeah,
her.
it's
She
her.
will go like we work so well together as husband and wife because we're both military. We're both understand each other's problems. So the thing is that she'll go out in the garage and she'll paint. I bought her a whole bunch of painting stuff so she can get back into painting as part
Yeah.
of her therapy. And she'll just turn on the Alexa and she'll be in the garage and you can hear
Just
it in
the
the
music.
living room. And it's just, I go play video games or watch TV or sleep or whatever. But yeah,
Do you think this next election, do you think the Republicans and more politicians and more people involved with the voting system are going to be paying more close attention this time?
it's the attention thing. That's what
You
they were
do
bringing up.
realize I'm predicting that if the same thing happens again, where all of a sudden Trump is leading, because I already know Trump is going to be the nominee. When it's election day in 2024, this is what I predict is going to happen. If Trump is leading the night, and all of a sudden the next morning the same shit happens where the mail-in votes come in, and all of a sudden Biden is pushed up ahead, and because Trump had 100 million Americans vote for him,
Do you really think
Democrat-
Biden will be the
No.
Democrat nominee? I don't think so.
maybe I don't know.
There's
I have no idea.
Unless
he can't
he
even
strokes out.
because he's not campaigning. They're not going to have any debates, so they're just going to assume he's just going to get it.
Unless he strokes out.
But here's
or
what's
is
going to
out of
happen.
office for some reason. he'll
If
be the- he'll be
Biden
the
wins,
candidate.
if whoever gets nominated, if I have a feeling it probably will be Biden because he's not campaigning, and the Democrats already said he's going to be their nominee. If he happens to win again, when the Americans and the world knows he didn't do squat, the whole entire administration didn't do squat, but take away from Americans. January 6th is going to look like a cakewalk on January 6th, 2025. It's going to look like a dang civil war out there. I have a feeling people are going to fall.
Well, here's the problem: is what is the vice president's only
Well,
responsibility?
Kamala Harris don't care.
No, the vice president. I'm not talking about
Oh,
her.
yeah.
What is the vice president's only
To call for
responsibility?
Tiebreaker.
to not only a
They're the
Or
tiebreaker,
president.
to also
they're
call
the
for
president
investigations
of the House.
Yeah.
And they're
personnel.
also supposed to call for
Yep, they're
investigations
above
if
the
they feel like
speaker.
some.
So they can come in and they can basically say or do whatever they need to
Yep.
do. And that's why Trump and Pence fell out, is because Pence didn't go in and say, look,
Hey, I need
there's
to investigate
fraud.
this.
Because Pence, I'm sorry if you like him, I apologize, but Pence is a jackass, and he is a
Rhino.
yeah, he is definitely a rhino.
He's
He is
become
a-
one.
Yes.
But the good thing I would say, silver lining, freedom is everyone's choice. And we can't, there's actually some sane Democrat friends I still have who I still talk to. There's some sane,
There's some ones.
but I think
RF
because of
Joe
all
wrote-
this that's happened recently, a lot of them are kind of starting to flip the switch and not going conservative, but understand like, hey, we were wrong. We were the fascists telling
Yeah.
people to believe what we are. And so
That's
whether
always my favorite.
I know
When
whether you vote
fascists tell
right,
you,
no
when
school
when
choice.
fascists
Yeah.
tell you you're the fascist, it's like what?
I think this had to happen, unfortunately,
I was just-
to show the
Yep.
corruption.
I was just talking to Julie about that today, because when we come back, I want to talk about the no label. People running under the no
Remember
label that
that.
just
Remember
came out.
that after our commercial break.
But
Ladies
we
and gen-
needed this. Sorry.
Okay, well, we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to continue on talking about what we're talking about, which is just BS, really. We love you guys. Please tune in about 2 minutes. We'll be back.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Don't.
This
You
is
are
the
Ricky.
nightly news.
No, this is 2020. Anyway,
Walter Cronkite.
before we get started on the second half, I just want to mention that Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at thejococommunityradio.com. This episode and more are brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's HAIL, HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. Hopefully nobody took a snap of that. Talking about, look what Joco Radio is doing over there.
They're
They got
Bunch of
freaking Nazis and socialists out there.
I think that what the world needs is just some Rush Limbaugh. It's a sad day that he's gone and we
Yeah,
can't
I
hear him,
know.
because that guy, he could cheer up.
He was
any Republican.
he was the most realistic person when it comes down to politics.
Yes.
When it comes to people's mindsets, he had it all figured out. He knew exactly. He knew people like me before I even knew I was conservative. He knew I was conservative just by the way I would react to things. Because when I started listening to him, that's how I knew that he was right on, and I felt myself being geared towards conservatism. It's because of how I felt proud of my country, while the left was leaning away from pride in their country and leaning more towards everything else in the world, everybody else, instead of us.
Yeah.
When we have, for example, like right now, the geriatric old fart, the GOF, is
I like that.
he is sending billions and billions of dollars every month to the country of Ukraine. Oh, GOLF. What's
golf?
Golf.
We
What's
just
the
call
golf?
golf.
Okay.
Geriatric old loser fart.
He's sending billions and billions and billions of dollars to a country that's, yeah, I get it. It needs help because it's fighting against a country that assumes they're corrupt. Russia assumes that Ukraine is corrupt, so they're going after all the people in Ukraine because they want this corruption to end, which is one of the things they don't talk about, which is what Russia's doing. And not only just because they want to take some of the Ukraine back, but all of a sudden you have all of these people in these liberal cities, all of these people that are homeless, they're in poverty, they're addicted to drugs because you have all of these liberals and Democrats that are running these cities, and not one of them is getting helped.
No, I think that's a stance everyone, no matter what side of the spectrum you start on, is.
But they don't care.
That's
The
what I'm
left don't
saying.
care.
Well, they do, but they don't show it the way, like you said, they're giving their money over countries like, hey, we need to help our own. Like, and we could talk about homeless. It's messed up to say, especially in the veteran community.
There was a homeless person in California, San Bernardino, I believe. She was sleeping in the grass. I'm sure she was passed out from drugs, and the grass was real high. And the lawnmower guy with the tractor with the pull behind mowed her up. And then now they're trying to sue the city of San Bernardino because she was passed out in this knee-high grass, and the guy didn't see her. That shouldn't have never happened.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of those issues that you're talking about that's facing veterans today is homelessness. Mm-hmm. And it's sad to say that a lot of homeless vets don't want to be helped.
Yep.
You can tell them, hey, I got a place that wants to hire you. Hey, I got a location that can house you.
Or here's
hey,
this
I got
program,
a place.
Yeah.
Here's this program. But a lot of them, they know how corrupt our government is, and they want nothing to do with the government. Zero. They don't want anything to do with them because they have piped them over and over again for years. They're just done with them, and then they become homeless because they want to stay off the grid. They don't want to deal with it. Now, it'd be nice if the U.S. government really decided to put their money where it was legitimately needed, which is helping fix homelessness and actually housing a lot of these people that are homeless.
How do you start to fix homelessness, though?
You
have
vote.
to shut the border off.
No. What you do is you vote. You vote out every.
Yeah.
Think about this. This is a real study and a real statistic. They did a study where they took 20 of the most populated cities in America. We're talking about Dallas, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, Manhattan, just name any big city that you know of, St. Louis. And they did a study of who ran them. And 18 out of the 20 cities, the major big inner cities that have, the 20 biggest cities, their inner cities are run by what?
Democrats. Because
the highest
inner city people want shit for free.
At the same time, 18 out of these top 20 cities have the most stringent gun laws in America. Who happens to have the highest crime in America? 18 of the 20 cities in America. Fort Worth is one of those high crime cities, but it's run by a Republican woman, which is very rare. Then there was another city in Louisiana, one of the big cities. Forgot. But anyway, there's a big city in Louisiana that's also run by
Baton Rouge, maybe
that's what it is. But it's run by a Republican. It also has high crime, but their gun laws are different. Here, it's Texas. People, when somebody comes into your house, you take out your gun and you defend your home by any means necessary, even if it involves putting them down. Okay. In California, they make it so hard for law-abiding citizens to get guns. When somebody is a criminal and they decide to rob your house, you can't do anything because the law states you can't have it.
Unless you're rich or you're like a celebrity.
Exactly. In case you have some kind of a security system, whatnot. Well,
no, I mean, there's how many celebrities have gotten off in California.
Oh, absolutely.
And the average person doesn't.
Well, but here the thing is that the Democrats in California are trying to change laws in such a way where it affects Democrats in a positive way. Only the politicians. Think about this.
But only a certain.
If you ran for office, would you only support Democrats or Republicans? I would support both because I'm running for office because I want to change both. I want both parties to come together. A lot of these politicians, both Republican and Democrats, go in there and they're only catering to the left or catering to the right.
Well, they don't want to sit here like we are and talk about it. Like we could talk about like gun laws all the time. Like here's where I don't want to be labeled liberal. Don't come after me. But I do agree on one thing, especially when you get firearms. I think everyone should be trained.
Yes.
Just like you get a driver's license,
That's
go
not
train.
liberal.
Do not.
Okay,
do not
I was about to
fear
mute you if you said something.
No,
about
absolutely. Everyone,
anti-gun.
no freedom. No, I'm all about guns. But I'm saying, you see these bad boys. But
I
I'm
was
just kidding.
waiting for it.
I know you got me too. But no. But in all serious, I think a lot of these people who fear guns are never trained with them. Don't know how to use them.
They don't.
So train them. Those liberal. I guarantee you, places like California. Because listen, I never admit this on air, but I'm from California, a very small rural area, farming town. It's very conservative.
California is beautiful,
but here's
when
the thing:
you're away from the inner cities.
Exactly. There's a lot to do there. But here's the thing: there's a lot of people who do own guns there, and they're very responsible with them. And I was gonna go, and a lot of people counter because I have a lot of liberal friends. They'll be like, "Oh, mass shootings." But did you know it's like I don't want to be quoted on this or fact checked, but I know it's over 70% of mass shooters are registered or have something to do with the Democrat Party. And I don't want to blame just all Democrats.
I think it's probably more than that.
But again,
more than
conservatives don't go out and just mass shoot people.
And why?
The average.
Because they're trained.
Hey,
they use their
to
weapons.
this day,
they're godly.
Question. To this day, do you know how many NRA members have committed
I know
mass?
this one.
How many have committed mass suicides or mass
0.
shootings? 0 NRA gun owners. So you mean to tell me a vast majority of gun owners have never committed mass shootings?
But we're going to punish everybody.
Yeah, because they blame the weapon itself.
And that's why I said we need to have these conversations on both sides, like you said.
Imagine if you lived a world where everything was everything else's fault. Say, for example, if I'm drinking water and all of a sudden I spill water on myself, damn cup for spilling it on me. Gosh,
let's ban cups.
Oh, let's ban cups, right? That's what's going on with the liberal mentality, right? And they're affecting us veterans because of that. They're changing these laws where it hurts us, okay? We want to help school children. We want to be able to enforce outside of schools and be maybe bodyguards to them.
I think that's a great occupation for veterans right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Veterans that are homeless, veterans that know how to use weapons, you pay them to literally protect schools. Yes, I mean, I get it. It'll probably cost a little bit, but it's worth it. Hey, how about maybe $120 billion you sent to Ukraine? Give us about $100 billion of that, and we'll go ahead and help protect every single school by buying security.
That brings me to another point. So when I was in high school in Waco back in the 80s and 90s,
it's a long time ago.
My freshman year,
I might have been.
You either took them. Yeah, you probably were still sucking on the teat. Can you imagine Victor, a baby in diapers, running around?
Hey, Mom, look at these guns.
Do you need this milk? It's a gallon, Mom.
We only drink whole milk, right? That's why I'm so big.
He sucks right from the cow. No, but so
somebody snip that. Do that again and snip that.
So that's a Navy move. I don't know what hand signal it is in the Navy, but
that was me milking a bull.
Isn't that your salute in the Navy? Isn't that your Navy salute?
Yeah.
Careful, I heard we do it. I heard we do it 3 more times, and that Navy.
Then it's face paint.
No, then that what is it? That Navy drag queen shows up.
Yeah. So, but we had to either freshman year, everybody had to take driver's ed. Either you did it in the fall if you were going to turn 16 before January, or you took it in spring. Oh, no. I don't remember. But it was freshman year we had to take it. These kids here in Burleson, there's no driver's ed. They do it
on their own.
Yeah, you have to do it on your own. And how many of these kids get out there and my God, these kids are driving around on their phone the whole time.
Oh, that's my
not paying attention, running red lights, getting in wrecks.
Which is crazy because technology is so much better. You have speak to talk on the phone, text to talk. You got Bluetooth, but people are running around like this.
Everybody's glued to their
phones. But going back to
phones,
what you guys both said and wrapping together is because we're funding incorrectly. It's like we took driver's ed, we took home ec, we took PE, we took wood shop
class.
When people were actually people, when they trained their kids.
And now where's that money going? That's my question.
Yeah.
In all the cities.
Where's the money going?
It's not all the Democrats, though. Let's just be real.
No, there's a majority of Republicans.
And they're just filling their pockets. Like, what about our kids?
Ukraine,
they are the future.
Ukraine is a cash cow. And what's the greatest money maker in the world?
Wars.
And guess
what? It really is.
How many Republicans, not only did the Democrats go over there, how many Republicans went to the Ukraine and were taking pictures with Zelensky? You know, Julie has this point that she talks about all the time, and it's valid. if you were in a war, would you be able to just fly out to America or wherever, just willy-nilly, whenever you want, like Zelensky does? He comes over for a week and his country's still at war. I think this is a shadow war. I think
I think
no,
this
what do
is-
they
I
call it?
think
A proxy
it's
war?
Proxy war. I
It's
think
a
so.
fake
Yeah.
war. There's a movie called Wag the Dog that's
Yep.
just like that, where they hype up this fake war so that way people
So what
they
did-
can just send money and back and forth.
What did Putin tell that general of the Wagner group when he was pushing into Moscow to take over a couple of weeks ago? Because, if you look online, you can see that Zelensky was buying drones from Amazon and they were taking these big drones, $500, $600, $700 phones,
explosive.
and they were hanging mortars from it.
Yeah.
And then they were flying over the
There's
trenches
hundreds of
and
videos of it. You can see the
dropping the
videos.
mortars into the trenches. Those guys had nowhere to go. You couldn't hide from it.
Yeah.
And that general for the Wagner group got pissed off and he started pushing in, and he was 150 miles from there. And all of a sudden Putin said something to him and he stopped and turned around and apologized. So what did Putin say to him to stop him from going in and taking over Russia?
Probably revealed the real truth behind the war.
I don't know, but
Because
it's interesting.
I'm not part of the Russian-Ukraine war, but I'm staying out of it as a veteran because I really don't know what's going on. It reminds me of what happened in Iraq. I was just there doing my thing. I was there, helping rebuild schools, helping arrest Al-Qaeda, ISIS, taking them all in, just doing all of this shit for this country of mine, and had no idea what we're even doing there. Because it's like, is Osama bin Laden from Iraq? But we were there because we thought we had weapons of mass destruction, which later turned out to be untrue, completely false.
no, Osama bin Laden was from Afghanistan.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
why were we sent to Iraq? I never knew.
That was so.
And that's what's happening right now with
if you
Russia.
if you look at the Iraq thing, that's an interesting case. So Bush goes in, Bush Senior, only a 4-year president. He got primaried out. He got beat in the election, but by Clinton. But so he goes in and he sort of gets his ass kicked. He doesn't really get any of the goals done he pushed Iraq out, but he's sort of left with his tail between his legs. So what does the son do? Oh, this is the perfect opportunity for us to go in and get some. And Dick Cheney was in an interview, and Dick Cheney came out and said that's why Bush Jr. pushed, because Dick Cheney was running that presidency.
I was told it was his generals, Bush's generals in command. They were telling him that they needed to go into Iraq and they had weapons of mass destruction. And he didn't even investigate it. He's just like, okay, this is my perfect opportunity to go ahead and send these soldiers over there.
They did have that capability, because missions I was on, we found a giant half buried in the sand warehouse with caskets of Iranian troops.
Yeah.
No bullet holes. I mean, these guys were killed by something. They think it was gas or
All
whatever.
all I know is when I was there,
I mean, we didn't
everything was
find the
destroyed.
smoking gun, but you can see that whatever that Iraq-Iran war was, there was some shit that was used that was
something happened
against
there.
the Geneva Convention.
I don't know what happened there, but something happened there because, man, military bases were destroyed by bombs in Iraq. When we knew it was Iran that had something to do with it. But anyway, no more politics for now, okay? Because we can continue on for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because all of this, as much as weird as it sounds, it all rounds about to veterans. It concerns veterans, because if we do get involved with the war, veterans are going to be the first people that kind of have flashbacks to this war. Like, oh my God, I remember this. This is exactly what happened to me. And
before we do that, can I get some selfless promotion?
Yeah, no, you need to promote.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
2 things though. I'm going to go with the more important one first because it's near dear to my heart. So if you guys don't know, I am the captain of the Burleson division for Operation Preying on Predators. Right, we're a nonprofit organization, volunteer. We go out, we combat sex trafficking here in Burleson and help missing kids. I'm going to give my hats off to Burleson PD. They're my favorite PD to work with. They take us serious. But what we do is we kind of bridge the gap between, the police looking for missing kids and individuals looking for, the kids. We like to call ourselves vigilantes, but we're not. We do the footwork. So if you ever, God forbid, and, I'm glad there's people like myself and other volunteers who do this program. If your kid runs away, goes missing, you've already called the cops, you think you're out of options, you're not. Look us up on Facebook, hit us up. We will help you find your kid. Even if it's a runaway, we always, that's priority as well, because that could turn for the worst.
Yeah,
real quick. So there's always more options, parents. You don't want to be that person. you know, everyone's never prepared. They're like, it's not me, it's never going to happen. Then your kid runs away and you're out of options, right?
How long has this program been going for?
Actually, Chad, he's the one who started in Abilene. He's an ex-detective cop from over there, and he moved to Burleson about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the Underground Railroad that the guy
Kind of. I mean, we're not super high
kinda?
speed there yet. It's me and I have a couple guys, and we go out there looking for kids. You know, we have stuff going on social media, but we kind of, you know, trying to get our presence more known through Burleson, so at least people know.
Has he tried reaching out to the Tim Ballard, the guy who runs the hour? Just maybe if there's a way you guys
Collab.
can collaborate and maybe become a pop hour Operation Underground Railroad and preying on predators. That'd be a nice little.
No, absolutely. I'll have to talk to him about it, but I just want to let anybody know who listens to the channel. If you ever find yourself in that, look us up. We have the main page and then the Burleson Division on Facebook. Again, I'm the captain of Burleson Division, not a big deal. So if you have to PM me directly, everything stays discreet. We don't judge anybody. We understand family problems happen, but your child's safety is our priority.
Okay,
child safety.
If you're on the show again, I'm going to make sure to introduce you as Captain Martin.
No.
Can we pray on you?
I don't know if I could ever. Oh my God, guys! Now we're taking this in serious.
No,
but on a serious note, look us up if you ever need anything.
Okay, and what's
second one, V-Built Fitness. I'm an online personal trainer. If you guys have physical fitness questions, needs, I'm also a nutrition coach. You can look me up on Facebook as well as V-Built Fitness, or just on Facebook, Victor Martin here in Burleson.
I just noticed your hat. That's cool.
Yeah, pop. Yeah, we have gear. So when we do show up, you'll see us in our shirts and our hats.
Imagine hypothetically, we lived in a world where Trump gets reelected, which
that's gonna
if it was realistic, he would win. And he made a law to where vigilantes can go after these people. That's sexual predators, child traffickers, without zero, going to court. You're not going to be found of anything. You just, if they know for sure that they're a trafficker or a sexual predator, and that's it. And you're given leeway.
Gosh, I'm a big fan of pedophile. If you're a restricted pedophile, I'm sorry, I have no mercy. Nope. I say send them for live target practice for law enforcement and the military.
I say put them on an island altogether.
No. We got to make them make them. You know how I don't want to give SF secrets, but we know that one training where they got to keep the goat alive or the pig.
Yeah.
Why not a pedophile?
Okay.
Fun fact or not fun fact, but what's the #1 day for sex trafficking in the world?
Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone is so distracted. That is the biggest
money maker for sex trafficking is Super Bowl.
Okay, this got pretty serious real quick. So normally I've started this new thing where I want the people that are listening or watching to kind of get to know the veterans. So I started doing this random generator. It's basically an AI program that generates questions.
AI?
No, it's basically where it comes up with questions that are geared towards people out there wanting to know more about you.
How big is Angelo's
elbow?
All right, cool. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. The first question for you guys. It could be quick. You don't have to go really in depth. Okay. What is the coolest feature in your home? Coolest feature.
I'm just gonna say Alexa.
My wife.
I think I think my coolest feature is probably just being able to do the air conditioning through my phone. I think that would probably be
Alexa. I have Alexa in one room.
If you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
Platypus.
I don't know. My youngest loves orcas, and they're the apex predators. So I'm gonna choose the orca.
Yeah,
ain't nothing gonna mess with me.
I'll probably be a cat because I love the cats, man. I don't know what it is about cats. Lady. I don't know what it is.
Angelo and his cats.
Yeah. Have you ever delivered a perfect comeback?
All the time.
At somebody.
All the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty quick with it, so I can.
Okay, good.
I can shut you up.
I'm just wondering. Good. All right.
Not with that.
Where did you last go on your vacation?
South Padre
Island.
I went to Robert Earl Keen's last concert last year, Labor Day, down in Helotes at John T. Flores Country Store, and it was my wedding honeymoon.
Oh,
it's my honeymoon. We've been.
Mine was Fredericksburg. If you haven't been there yet, you guys need to go there. It is fantastic. Yep. A lot of wineries and just a fantastic place to be. It's probably one of Texas's best locations to visit.
Oh, it's good to know.
What surprised you the most about your current job or your current living situation?
Well, I'll go living situation just here in Burleson. I love this little town. My wife's from Fort Worth, and we had family here, and we'd come here every now and then. I'm like, Burleson's cool, but now living in it, it's like small town, big city vibe. It's that weird mesh in between.
What about you?
Yeah, I love this town. I mean, we're gonna eventually sell when Zach graduates and move to the hill country, or somewhere south, to buy a lake and rivers and stuff. But we want our own land. But yeah, I absolutely love this place. And the thing is that what surprises me is I'm 48 years old and I'm retired.
Okay, that's good.
That
you're
surprises me,
you're
yeah.
medically retired is not a bad way to go.
Retarded?
Well,
A
medically
little bit
retarded.
of both, but no, that's all. That's a
half
great
and half.
accomplishment.
You're just like the milk, half and half. It's fine.
Yep.
Okay, so what do you wish you learned sooner in life?
Ooh,
Mine's credit. I wish I had known credit when I was growing up.
investing.
Investing?
Probably the last 5 years, 2017, I started getting serious in investing. I started with like M1 Finance and Robinhood, all the small ones where you can buy micro slots or micro stocks, and you eventually buy a whole stock. But investing, the way I look at it now, I'm going to go on a quick tangent. I got a couple seconds, but you're throwing your extra saving money into a saving account and making 0.0005% return. And the bank, they're taking that money and investing it in portfolios and making money
Millions,
and then loaning it out, where you can do the same. Like, it is insane. If you don't invest, look into it.
Yeah. All right.
Man, there's several things, investing. That's a good one. I think being
Crypto,
able to.
mine is crypto as well. I wish I had known about crypto.
I'm not there yet.
When it first came out, I wish. God.
I almost got on the board when it was like hundreds of dollars
Oh
instead of
my
30,
gosh, we would all be
$30,000.
millionaires if we just knew.
Yeah, when it
Tesla.
jumped up, the amount, if I'd have put $100 in, I would have had 75 million when it jumped.
Yeah,
and I didn't because I didn't know anything about it. So that's a good point.
Yeah,
I think that my biggest thing I wish I'd have known sooner is how to manage my emotions. And this goes back to the whole PTSD thing, the military. There was so much survivor guilt and loss that I didn't know how to manage my emotions up until I started going through therapy. I don't mean to go full circle on this, but once I started being able to manage those emotions, I became a way better person. And I wasn't a horrible person to begin with, but I love myself a lot more now that I'm able to manage those emotions. I couldn't.
Okay.
I would get mad and throw a coffee cup or punch a wall, or I didn't know how to manage them. But I do now. I don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the best advice you have ever received from someone?
Pretty much retired cop Tamer. He's like my dad to me, but he pretty much focus on yourself. The rest of the world could be screaming at you, telling do one thing. You know what's best for yourself. Like, don't concern yourself with anybody else. When you're ready, you're ready.
My dad told me when I was young, he gave me a lot of great advice. My dad was a wise man. He said, everybody fails. So you fail hard and fail often. And what that means is that if you don't fail, you're not going to learn how to succeed. So you fail as many times as you need to fail until you succeed. Once you succeed, then you try something else you fail at and you keep failing at that. Failing is not wrong. It's just you can say the acronym like the military says, first attempt in learning. But failing is important because if everybody succeeds all the time and everybody gets that damn trophy instead of having a winner and a loser, you don't learn how to succeed in life and you expect everything given to you.
Yeah, mine was somebody, a preacher or a pastor in my past said that God gives you the people you need, not the people you want.
Huh.
That was one of the best advice ever. Okay, here's a good one. Do you vote in local elections regularly?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you own your home?
Yes.
That's creepy. Now I feel like we're gonna get like some spam from Facebook.
Yeah, my Facebook's gonna blow up.
What fact about you might surprise people that know you who have never really known you very much in real life? What would be surprised?
I don't know.
I'm like a low-key nerd. I can get down with like video games and Marvel and comics and stuff, and
Okay, I can see
random
that.
facts like that.
What about you, Bobby? What's something that people out there, even people that know you, don't know about you?
I have a very vast education. So I went to college for like 10 years total through 3 different universities, Baylor,
Jesus
Southwest Texas, and
That's
Texas
pretty
Tech.
good.
And so I graduated with 366 semester hours, which is enough to become a doctor. Yeah, so I mean, I have a
Captain Martin, Dr.
professor,
Riley, Dr.
Yeah,
Riley.
Dr. Riley. So I just liked learning so much that I had this I didn't want to graduate.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just wanted to stay in school as a
Yeah,
professional
you
student
like
for my whole life
education.
because I had one class left at Tech and I just kept putting it off until I was able to.
Get time for one more.
One more.
Last
What
one.
is the weirdest thing your loved one does? Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my god! I
Ah,
hope she's
put you
not
on the spot.
listening.
Put you on the spot.
The weirdest thing
Thing
she
that she
does
does.
is she'll have a conversation with me with no content and expect me to keep up while there's 40 different things and I have no idea what she's saying. An example could be just like, "Hey, we're going to the graduation of his name." Huh?
She sleeps with an eye mask on.
Yeah, mine burps. I'm like an animal. It's like what the? But anyway, hey everybody, this has been Vet for Vets. Please tune in next week, and we love you guys. Thank you for listening and for watching.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio. Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material.